Hello and welcome to Free Practice 1 from Shanghai International Circuit here in China. Now, over 20 years ago, this reclaimed marshland became a state-of-the-art facility that has borne witness to some of the most crucial and compelling moments in racing history. Today, it's all about gathering data for the tyres in these cool temperatures.
Hello then,
Right,
welcome
radio check,
everyone.
Please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Right, there we go, radio check done. Welcome everyone to this live stream event today, episode number 1, live. This is for round number 2 of the Chinese Grand Prix in My Career Mode. Last time out in Australia, we basically won the Grand Prix because Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton broke down, effectively, and also the two McLarens. Well, Lando Norris qualified way out of position, and for, obviously, not just Lando, but for Oscar, not also a bit out of position, started down in 5th, but also, not just that, he also didn't really have the pace or whatever in the car necessarily, or great tyre strategy. I'm not really too sure what happened with Oscar's race, but in the end, we won then, and yeah, we took victory. We took the top honours of the weekend, and we obviously took the full 25 points.
Track, so take it easy.
Obviously, do subscribe to me if you wouldn't mind. That would not go without any sort of miss or ungratefulness. Currently on 614 subscribers. That's our current state of play. So, yeah. Obviously, as I say, if you could subscribe, that would always be greatly appreciated. Anyway, on to then this race. We're driving as George Russell in the Mercedes. As the championship leader. Ooh, rear end getting a bit loose there. So we do have a, I believe, did warn us up, didn't I? Before coming out the garage. Just saying, got my ERS switched on at the moment. That's all. So, yeah. Car handles very nicely in this game. So, Chinese Grand Prix weekend is a sprint. Just here doing the practice programs. First up, I think it's the race simulation or something. So, hard tyre, probably going to be the Grand Prix tyre, or one of the Grand Prix tyres. Whether or not we do a 2-stop this race, I'm not sure. We did do a 2-stop in Australia, worked out okay. I think had we been competing against Max, Max would have won, but in the end he broke down. So, ultimately, it looks like the Red Bull's just quicker than our Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli came down in 6th, which isn't bad points for himself and for the team as a whole. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now and basically get on with this lap and get this program done quickly and hopefully get the full maximum point. So there we go.
Complete and a job well
So we took the full
we got some
resource
excellent
points
data with
there
that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the
for
numbers.
the first one. The only thing is, like with the tyre wear, you've got to go so slow to match that delta time. Like, I don't feel like it's very representative of the program, like for what it's going to be worth in the race. Anyway, onto the race run. We're doing the race run on the softs. I feel like this is the wrong tyre anyway to be on. If we are going to do a race run in the race, and already look at that tyre wear, absolutely dreadful. I wouldn't go flying lap anyway on the out in the race, but for practice, why not? Don't really matter too much for me what I do. Anyway, let's get on with it then. So first of the 3 race run laps, just to get the purple tyre score, hopefully, and the purple race run. So, up into the first turn here at China, long twisting right-hander, which just winds and winds up really, till you get to there, and then turn 2. Certainly got to tidy that up before qualifying, shortly, but nonetheless, let's see what our first split is. 2 tenths up on Max Verstappen, who's also on the softs. Right now, though, him and myself probably going to be very similar in terms of the lap overall. Whether or not his car's quicker this weekend, no idea. In Australia, I would just say he edged it. He edged pole by 0.02 thousandths, I think it was, or hundredths. Right now, 1.5 seconds up on the overall pace, so yeah, he's quite far down. In terms of the actual target, the target's of 138.2, so a pretty high lap time actually they're wanting me to achieve. Almost, in fact, is about 1.45 seconds quicker. So that's the race pace team set for us today. In this practice program, beating it by about half a second. Probably could have been more. Anyway, across the line for the first run. 2 more of those. And yeah, the drop off though, absolutely massive what the team is thinking here. They're thinking the drop off is 1.3 seconds, really? That's a huge drop off. So, you know, I doubt it'll be 1.3 seconds, but you never know. Maybe the team is right, or maybe that's right. Let's see. So first sector practically matching our best overall in the first sector. 4 thousandths down. Middle sector feeling a lot cleaner this time, to be fair. That's just my opinion on it, even though 2 tenths down, apparently. Alright, onto the back straight. I'm not sure if China is laser scanned. It don't feel like laser scanned, but it does feel pretty decent anyway in the game, I've always thought. I've always liked China as a track. Even on the older games, I think China's one of the better tracks, even in Formula 1, just for racing in general. Really does work China a lot. Anyway, lap time, did we go quicker? No, we only dropped off by 2 tenths. Again though, look at what the Delta's saying. So that would actually suggest overall this time maybe operating better than at least the program is suggesting. The program is suggesting that we should be into the 140s now after a 3rd lap. Certainly the tyres practically gone away from us, 3 tenths down. So pace is certainly starting to go. Maybe we're feeling it a little bit more now. So yeah, this only would last 4 laps which really in truth isn't that great. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing the sprint on it. Obviously, it's a 10-lap sprint. Kind of hope we're not going to do the sprint on it, otherwise it's going to be a bit of a struggle in the final few laps, I reckon, of the race, or of the sprint at least. It's a 10-lap sprint though, so yeah, that isn't too long. I think in real life, is it 19 laps, if I'm correctly mistaken? So into the final corner, round the final turn, still nicely up on the delta, and Moit's projecting a little bit wide, and we've invalidated, so I'm just going to use a flashback, just one, only because it's practice. I do have it on strict, so in qualifying I won't do that, but here in the practice, there's no harm, I don't think, in doing that. We get the purple score anyway. But yeah, in terms of tyre wear or tyre life, after 3 laps, you can see it really dropped. But whilst the tyre life dropped a lot, compared to the projection, the actual tyre time in terms of the delta relatively remained okay. It relatively remained consistent, I would say. The big increases between lap 2 and lap 3, we've almost lost about a second there, so yeah, that's where the big increase comes from. Now, I'm not sure we have another tyre for the qualifying sim, so I think we either skip that or we have to come back for what? The sprint? I don't know. I don't think we've got a tyre really ready, unless we do the qualifying sim on the hard. That's the only available compound I could go and use for that. I mean, yeah, that's the only thing I can actually probably do. But I don't want to use up an extra set of softs here, because we've got quite a few softs. I don't want to use another hard, because we do have a hard available. We do have a medium, but again, I don't want to necessarily use that, because we got to remember, use a set for the sprint. So, or I want to maybe try and use a set for the sprint. I might just skip to the sprint qualifying and just leave the qualifying sim. I just don't want to risk jeopardizing our race weekend later on, if that makes sense. I'd prefer to just bank what we've got and move on onto the sprint qualifying then here anyways, because we've got quite a few things to come. It is saying it could be a bit of a damp or wet sprint race, so
welcome
yeah, dry
along
sprint.
To Shanghai,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying.
So we have turned up the
radio
difficulty,
check, please. Radio check.
and now we go into what will be sprint qualifying. Just want to make sure we have got on my custom set. We do indeed. So that is going to help us out quite a considerable amount. I'm going to start off on the mediums, because we do have 2 sets of mediums for sprint qualifying. So I'm going to start off on the medium tyre. We've got about 11 minutes.
When you're ready,
so the plan will be start on the mediums, go to the softs for our final run, get 2 runs in, and try to qualify, obviously, on pole position. So we may be a little bit off. If we can get somewhere around the midfield, I'd be pretty satisfied with that effort. Ultimately, that's, I think, a good, hopeful representation of where this car can be on a medium tyre. Get into the top 10 somewhere. On a medium compound. I'm not sure others will go for similar run plan, or if they're going to go softs first. That's the thing, we may be a little bit advantaged here because we're going mediums on this first run. If the other drivers don't go what we're doing and they're only going softs, then are they going to have a fresh softs for the end of the session? That could be worth probably at least half a second, maybe a little bit less than that, than what I've predicted, but certainly could be worth a bit of time around China, as the track just grips up all the time. Then in qualifying, of course, as the cars do go around, I do think the track does improve. I'm not sure if it improves like it is in real life, where the rubber gets laid down and effectively the track just gets grippier and gripper. So effectively that's what happens in real life. I'm not sure if it's the exact same effect to that, or whether, you know, there's different mechanics going on in the game. Probably different mechanics, I'm gonna guess, going on in the game. I don't think you could quite replicate that. I think they did once try to do marbles or whatever. I didn't like that back in F1 23, I think it was, when they did that. The marble effect off the racing line, that was absolutely horrendous. It was actually, that idea. I don't know who thought you could actually add them to a game and it would work. It just wouldn't. It's never going to work. Anyway, on with the lap then. So, first lap in the Mercedes here. As we come out, a little bit of traffic, which I was already pre-worried about down that straight. That's only going to cost me maybe a tenth. Anyway. First sector, 25.0. Not bad, not great. I feel like I need a little bit more carb really loose there on the exit. Tire just not giving me the grip that I want or really need at this moment in time. Very wide through there. Hit the apex well though of that turn. And then onto the back straight, of course, going fastest in the middle sector. So Sainz, 35.9. We're going to try and use up most of our battery here. Down this back straight, hopefully that's where we're going to gain most of our advantage. 35.6 for Charles Leclerc. Not sure what tyre they're on. Are we on course to beat that? No idea. Anyway, come to the line. It's a 35.2, so we have actually beaten then that on our first run. And Red Bulls are on their outlaps now. So yeah, 35.2. Then for us, as we'll head back into the pits. Now I'm not sure who's on our outlap or in lap. But we'll try and stay out of the way best as possible. Whilst making our way back to the pits. Lawson goes quickest with a 35.1. On the soft though he is. Now, I believe this is one of the Aston Martins anyway, so they've done a lap, I believe. But don't want to do that. I think they're going to have to yield anyway to the car behind, so if they do yield, then we will yield probably just before here. Norris gone quickest then, overall.
Less than one lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much empty.
That's Piastri. Alonso has impeded. I'm just trying to make my way back to the pits without impeding anyone, really. That's the one thing about the AI. I think the AI does really, really poorly in. They're always a bit poor in, how can I put it? Lawson's anyway set a lap, so I think these anyway have all set a lap, which is kind of okay. Just means we're making our way back to the pits a bit more normally now. Yeah, this is one thing the AI really do badly at, is, you know, when you're on an in-lap or out-lap, I never know, you know, who's on in-laps, who's on out-laps, of course, but if there's a car going slow off the racing line, in theory, it should just overtake, if that makes sense, or at least that's how I see it. But the AI, for whatever reason, never do that. Anyway, we're in P3 now. As I say, have the AI, because obviously they're not programmed to the same way I'm programmed. So, obviously, I'm going out on a 2-run strategy. Mediums first, so in theory that was a banker lap. And then we're going to go on to the softs next. How much of a deficit, firstly, do I have to make up? That's going to be the ultimate question. And then the second ultimate question is, you know, will the AI have a fresh set of tyres to go on to, which gives them help? And I think I've actually missed the, what you call it, I have. Okay, well, that's us done then. At least we've got an extra set of softs, but that's us done. So where am I going to qualify for our second race as George Russell?
And that's it for sprint qualifying.
Qualify
Plenty more
in
coming up over the rest of the weekend.
6th. Ain't bad.
See you all tomorrow.
Isn't bad, actually. Where's the 2 Red Bulls? Oh my days. No way. The 2 Red Bulls down in 17th and 18th. They had really bad laps. Okay, they had really bad laps. Red Bull season starting off horrid here in the game, at least. I mean, it's not great in real life for Red Bull at the moment, but in the game, at least it's not as bad as that. That is horrible. DNF in Australia, and now a P16 and 17th in China. Wow. So, right, into the sprint. Apparently, it is going to be a wet Grand Prix, or a wet sprint race, potentially. I'm not actually too sure. We do start 6th, so we are going to have to make up a bit of ground here in whatever conditions it may be. Just misjudged the timing a little bit, because I do like to fast forward the time a little bit, if you know what I mean, whilst they're obviously in a league race, you can't really do that, but in obviously game, at least you can fast forward it when you're in career mode or whatever, and just having to wait now for this to load up.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Shanghai International Circuit, then, is a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, test their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and they're available into turn 1 and down the kilometre-long back straight into turn 14. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Lawson, Bortoletto, Oscar Piastri, and Russell, Stroll, Doohan, Fernando Alonso, and Alex Albon, Ocon, Behrman, Charles Leclerc, and Hamilton, Sainz, Hayes, Yuki Tsunoda, and Max Verstappen, Hadjar, Hülkenberg, Gasly, and Joshua Pearce rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today. Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, you know, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
So, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Crofty.
Radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
And
Okay,
yeah,
here we
one-stop
go.
strategy,
I know
of
what you can
course.
do. Don't let me down.
Sorry, no-stop strategy. I'm not thinking there will be a safety car, but I am going to put a little bit of fuel in just in case. But yeah, very good qualifying for Lawson and Bortoleto, who qualify in 3rd and 4th. A bit out of position, maybe. Stroll and Doohan also another two, maybe a bit out of position. A lot of drivers actually here are a bit out of position, really, including myself. Had we had a final run at the qualifying on new softs, probably would have been up there. Maybe. Anyhow, we're not, and we're starting
No rain expected for the time
in
being.
P6 then, as the championship leader. We have got a 10-point gap over Norris, who will start first, so that cannot change this race. In terms of the driver ahead of us, P2 in the championship, he's the one that's probably more of a threat, but could he be leapfrogged into second? I think not. I think he will also remain second regardless, so long he gets top 5 and Norris obviously finishes first. I think hopefully we can get back up into the top 2. So objective, probably get past at least Piastri on the start, then get past the 2 ahead of him very quickly on, and then try and get into a race rhythm, get Antonelli at the end. If Norris clears off into the distance, fair enough to Lando. But yeah, that's going to be the race strategy for these next 10 laps at least in this sprint race. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen. Any comments, please do comment them in the chat section below, or leave a comment after the video or on the live stream. I'm sure down in the comment section. It'd be good to get feedback, read them, of course. And yeah, if you're new around here, before we get into this sprint, give it a subscribe and subscribe for more races. We've got hopefully a lot more races as George Russell career mode. We are going to do and let's get going then.
Superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
So, 5 red lights coming on. It is lights out and away we go. We get a much better start than Bortoleto, who really bogged down there. Also, Piastri gets a good start. Kimi Antonelli comes across almost into the back of Kimi Antonelli there. We try to go around the outside of Lawson. I don't think that's possible. So it's just keeping ahead of Bortoleto here as we come out of turn number 2. Bortoleto with a little bit of a better drive actually there than myself. We're going to burn a little bit of ERS battery as Piastri making himself already up into P2 in this race. So hasn't really gone the way I've just planned it originally in my head, as Piastri gets up into second place and is now 1 position behind the race leader, Lando Norris, who's had a perfect start here for himself. So yeah, Lando Norris clearing off out then down the road in the McLaren, followed by Piastri, Antonelli, then Lawson, then comes myself as George Russell, and then Bortoleto in 6th. So can we get obviously Liam Lawson on this back straight in the RB? No DRS enabled for the first lap, so Lawson won't obviously be under threat of that. Even if he had though the DRS, I'm not sure it would make any sort of difference at the moment, because he himself is in that 1 second of Kimi Antonelli. So already look at the gap to obviously Lando. Lando sets the fastest lap of the race, trying to get closer to Liam Lawson. Go around the outside first, try for the switchback, and that's exactly what we've done there. Nice move to get up into the top 4 then here. Next up is Andrea Kimi Antonelli, our teammate, who right now started off his season in 6th place. Second ahead of me. Can he get within his DRS just to help a little bit of defense, maybe? Or even turn that into attack, as we do have a yellow flag. Who is it out of the race?
Okay, clear.
Or gone slowly, it's Alex Albon. So Alex Albon is out then here. That won't cause any safety cars.
You might experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible.
Still. Lap
No time
3
concerns at the
of
moment,
the
just
sprint,
focus on the driving.
as we sneak down the inside of Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and that's us now up into P2 in this race. So got about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds roughly to the next car. It's Antonelli coming back at me. But he managed to defend that one well from Andrea. Getting all leery there on the curb, just taking a bit too much there. So it's 4 seconds to the car ahead of obviously Piastri, who right now is Norris with a 4.4 second advantage.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
So Andrea gonna come back at us with the DRS. Not much I can do. Absolutely nothing we can do then there to defend that one. Andrea just quicker in a straight line. And again, we will try to get him back down the straight. Good thing is, we've got quite a nice gap to the cars behind at the moment, so we don't really need to, how can I put it, worry about Bortoleto behind. He's 2 seconds further afield. But yeah, gonna go back down the inside of Andrea into turn number 1. So, 2 McLarens looking very quick in this sprint. Obviously, we're having to fight a little bit with our teammate, which certainly don't help our own race. It'd be just nice if we can pull a second here, just to Andrea Kimi Antonelli. We're up to 6:10 as we go very deep. That's going to probably give Andrea Kimi Antonelli, I would have thought, a run on me up the hill. Certainly that will. I'll go slightly to the inside just to break the toe. Is it going to be enough though? Don't think so. No, nowhere near enough. Thing is, that DRS is so powerful. Right, I think I'm gonna overtake Kimi Andrea in a different place this time. Can we go around the outside here? As we try to. So even though we're going to get back ahead of Kimi Antonelli, we've done it in a completely different place compared to where we've done it in the previous 2 times. A lot more sooner than here. Which, for us, that could be a very good thing. Just means for Andrea, he's going to have to work a little bit harder this lap, just to hopefully stay within the DRS of us. Once we get Andrea outside our DRS, I know he's not coming back. Let me just put it like that. There we go. I think we may, so long we get this corner absolutely spot on. Have we? Very close. I think we did. So that'll prevent Andrea getting DRS this time around. So now we can unleash our pace and see what this car is capable of, hopefully. Andrea shouldn't have DRS, certainly not going to overtake me on this occasion. So now we can just unleash a little bit of our pace and see what we maybe could have done in this race. Still 5 laps to go. I don't think we're going to catch back up to the likes of Norris or Piastri. I think these two have just cleared off too far down the road from us. But at least if we can just see what we could have done for the this sprint, what our pace is generally like, that's certainly going to help my mood going into the main race shortly. So that's all this is, going to be a bit of a pace check-up compared to the McLarens. Are we faster, are we not? McLaren in theory probably do have the advantage, but we have taken a couple tenths out of Oscar Piastri, so that's, I suppose, a bit of a positive. Gap was about 5.5 last lap, now it's down to 5.0. In terms of gap to Norris, was about 7.7, still is about 7.7, so not much changing there. In a straight line, I feel like maybe we've got a bit too much drag, but that's the setup I've got on the car, which, to be fair, I don't really want to change. And who is that potentially out the race? Is it going to cause any issues for anyone? So 38.6, it's Oliver Behrman. So Oliver Behrman has retired from the Chinese Grand Prix.
We're starting to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
So, yeah, in general, McLaren is just quicker, you can tell. I think McLaren's got just a couple
Okay,
tenths
here's the gap
here
that we're trailing the car
on us
ahead by.
per lap.
5.2 seconds.
Make it 5.4 now or something. But ultimately, we're definitely quicker than Andrea and the cars behind. So, yeah, definitely quicker than those cars, but definitely slower than the cars also ahead. So, in the race, I'm not really sure what we're going to be able to do against the McLarens. I think the McLarens are going to probably have a bit too much for me in the actual main race as well. Have put up the difficulty since that win in Melbourne, just to make it a little bit more, hopefully, closer to real life as possible. Because in theory, McLaren should have a bit of advantage at the start of the season, just like they do in real life. But a P3 in the sprint, if we can get maybe surprise pole, that'd be pretty decent. Maybe if we could fight for the win, I'm not too sure. Not much of a pace advantage, though, the McLarens have got. I wouldn't say it's massive, to be fair. Not in the game, at least. Maybe in real life it's a lot more. But, yeah, it don't seem like, since, obviously, everything's changed, it don't seem like Lando's that far ahead. Like, overall, what was it when I got past Andrea a few laps ago? About 7 seconds. Gap's relatively remained largely the same. Same with Oscar Piastri ahead. Gap's largely remained at about 5.5 seconds. Same for Lando, about 8-7 seconds there or thereabouts. So you're only talking about maybe 0.3 or 0.2 a lap, or 1/10 a lap or something, really minuscule in terms of advantage at the moment, but it is a bit of an advantage that they'll have, certainly as well in the race. What's the tyre wear saying? The tyre wear's pretty horrid. You can see actually front left really looking delightful.
Okay, gap to the car ahead, 0.1 seconds.
So gap behind 4.5 seconds. Obviously did start this race down in 6th place, so we have moved forward 3 positions. So has Oscar though. So Oscar will gain a point on us. Lando will only gain 2 points in the end. So gap to Lando will be 8, gap to Oscar be 6. After this race, the sprint race, the rain's held off, so that's, I suppose, good overall. But yeah, the McLaren, certainly on tyre wear, is looking so much stronger actually. That's one thing. Even in the game, McLaren, you can just see these last couple laps, whilst the gap to Antonelli's roughly unchanged, to roughly around 4-5 seconds.
Okay to use your overtake
gap
button.
to Norris has grown now out to over
Okay, mate, this is the
almost
final
10
lap of the
seconds
race.
in the
Final
last
lap.
couple of laps, so
Gap to your teammate
and
behind,
certainly
4.0
on tyre,
seconds.
looking after its tyre well. Maybe we haven't looked after our tyres as much. Possibly that's also the case. Maybe I'm a bit more sensitive to it compared to the AI. But the gap, as I say, from behind isn't really come down a lot. Gap in front has grown, certainly now more significantly over the last lap and a half. No, Antonelli taken about half a second out of us there, but did make a mistake in the first sector. Yeah, car just sliding.
Okay, gap to the car in front, 7.9 seconds.
Antonelli takes another quarter of a second out of our gap. Either way, it won't be enough for Antonelli to close in this sprint back up to us. But there we go then. So that is the main race done, or the sprint race done, sorry. And we'll now head in to what will be a sprint. 'Cause, yeah, Antonelli, even himself, starting to close that gap quite significantly there in the end. I'm kind of glad that one has come to an end. So yeah, AI definitely better, probably looking after their tyres. But as I say, the gap to Norris incredibly grew a lot there.
Come on, we're on the podium. Good job this weekend. That's a great drive. Thank you.
So yeah, that's then the sprint done. We'll now go into Grand Prix qualifying.
So with the sprint concluded, join us next time for qualifying. And of course, the main event, this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix. We'll see you next time.
So now we go into the Grand Prix qualifying here. So we gain, what is it, 6 points from that? So we're now on 31 points overall in the Drivers' Championship. After, obviously, a race and a bit. So yeah, Grand Prix qualifying, let's go. Let's try and this time not mess up the timings like we did in the sprint qualifying and make sure we get in the appropriate amount of runs. I'm going to only do 2 runs because, again, it is pretty long these weekends, especially sprints. Right, let's go for it and let's try to get pole position now.
Out to the track.
Now, just look at the difference in tyre wear actually there. On the outlap in free practice, I think we had about 7 or 8%. Here, just driving ourselves outlap, it's only at 1%. So massive difference in what you call it, in tyre wear. So yeah, that's a huge difference. Anyway, on with the lap then. Let's see what we can do. Or what we could do, that didn't do in the first qualifying. Oh my days, like honestly, I know there was a car there, but my goodness, the AI, that's, you know, right, I'll compliment EA on a lot of things actually about this game, but that's the one thing I'm still not quite satisfied with, is the AI in this year's game. Come on, that is just silly. Like, you wouldn't go that slow. If not, you'd wait. Surely there's something EA can do to sort of like address that. Obviously, it probably won't be done for this year's game. Whether or not it'll be done for next year's, who knows? Who knows even if EA will have the title next year. I'm not really sure if EA has done enough, you know, to win over enough people to sort of like warrant being given the title again for future years. Like, it is a good game, don't get me wrong. I'd say this is better than F1 24 by miles. Handling just feels so much more on it from day one, even if there was a patch. I think the only thing I'd advise EA to patch is make the cars just a tiny bit faster. Maybe sort out the pecking order also a little bit more in tune with real life. But other than that, I wouldn't really have too many absolute criticisms, if you know where I'm coming from, of what EA can and can't do. But yeah, if there's one thing I think EA do need to sort out for next year, very big time, drastically big time, is teaching the AI how to behave when you're on an out lap or even on an in lap sort of thing, so you don't end up in a situation that, you know, I've ended up in there. I've probably lost a tenth or two just in the first corner alone. Not saying that will cost me pole or anything, but if it does, it wouldn't necessarily shock me. Two behind, think just on normal laps. But this is what I mean by AI's behaviour. It's just stuff like that. I'm well off the racing line. You'd think the AI would know, and now you're challenging me into the hairpin, like stuff, small stuff like that. I'm talking of, like Bortoletto actually went past normally as he should, but then the driver that didn't go past was obviously Gasly, I think it was, or Doohan, whichever one of the two Alpines, I don't know. Anyway, in terms of actual lap time, I'll tell you what, Hamilton's done a very good lap time. I don't think I'm going to be able to beat that, you know, because I tell you this now, my best lap time in time trial is a 1:34.2. Can I do a well, I have to go faster than time trial in order to do that, I think, and not feeling it. I just not at the moment, be honest with you. We'll see. Right now, overall, yeah, Norris well into the 34.2s, so we're gonna have to probably get into the 1:33s here. And right now, where is our teammate Antonelli? He's also, well, he hasn't done actually bad lap either. He's done a 35.5. So, yeah, this is probably more of a reality check, maybe, where our car is at. The Ferrari may be overshooting a little bit here, where the Red Bull and the McLarens seem about right, and we seem maybe about right. I think also the other one overshooting is Gabriel Bortoletto. My goodness, he's on it. Anyway, better get out there before we don't have enough time. This time do have enough time. Just leaving it right until the last second, which is only going to be a good thing for us, because it just means when we come around, we'll be the final car, cross that line, and we are going to be the final car to set a lap. We've got plenty of time, about 20 seconds. Might have to be careful of traffic, that's the only thing. There's the two Apex GP cars, but this is what you do. If, you know, you're not on a quick lap, then get out of the way nicely. Through turn one, try and get out of the way for Norris. Not trying to be in the way. No, I think did well in getting out of the way. Don't think got anything wrong. Anyway, we're in a lot of traffic, which trying to gonna combat it a little bit. Don't want to be overtaken more than by 2 cars here. So can avoid a little bit of this traffic. So get out of the way for Sauber or Bortoleto. The AI will have to let me back pass anyway, but the thing is, I don't want to be in too much traffic, so if I can avoid being caught by Hulkenberg and the Ferrari, I think that'd be nice. So I'm going to try, that's my plan. A little bit of a wiggle there though. Thing is, these cars are going to be so quick on this straight in comparison to myself. Yeah, not going to be able to do that, so I'm going to have to back off considerably. There is a gap here actually I can create, so this is a gap I'm going to have to try and go into, manifest it a little bit. Don't think that'd be considered impeding, would it? Anyway, let's go. Let's see what we can do in qualifying then here. Through turn 1, a little bit of understeer. We're actually down on our delta, which isn't good if we're going to go for pole. We even want to improve our position for the race. So, first sector, not quite able to be on it as much as I'd like. Through second sector, can we improve? We are now coming back onto that traffic. But we have found a 10th then there in that part of the lap. We are up on the delta. 3 tenths up. Need about 5-6 tenths if we're going to be on pole. We are going to have a nice slipstream down the back straight, but are these cars going to get out of the way for me, or are they going to ruin my qualifying? I have no idea what's going to happen here. They're all battling. I'm coming into the braking zone now. Bortoleto on the, what you call it. In the end, we made a little bit of contact, but we managed to get the car pivoted nicely round the final turn. Got the DRS wide open. Are we on pole? I'm not sure. Have we taken pole? No, we've taken P2, so we've missed out on pole for the second time in a row. Then, but what was it by? If we weren't impeded, I'm confident we would have taken pole then there. Only by 49 thousandths. We missed it out on the pole position. But yeah, that impediment in the final sector of the lap did me dirty. And yeah, in the end, we did improve our final sector. What was it in comparison? So I think we would have probably improved by more. Practically matched, a little bit faster. Well, actually, no, we're faster in the final sector. I mean, you could say we lost pole anyway in the first sector because... Well, what sector did we lose pole? So first sector, it's a 24.8, 3.1, 24.8, 3.1, the middle, and then it's a 40.894. So for our lap time, maybe middle sector we lost it because, well, middle and first, in truth. Final sector was pretty good. We did get a warning, I think, for colliding with the car, even though they were on a, what you call it, we were on a push, they was on a slow, and we get the warning. How's that fair? Anyhow, into the main race. Starting P2, I mean, I'm not going to complain. We are going to start second on the road then here for the Chinese Grand Prix, which I suppose is better than I would have anticipated. Yeah, it's certainly better than I'd anticipate originally, because I was thinking originally we wouldn't be on the front row. Could have been on pole, missed out on pole. Oh well, that's life for you.
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once again. It's a race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first win with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt there's plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight, before the cars break into the tight hairpin at turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Gasly, Bortoleto, Doohan, Leclerc and Esteban Ocon, Sainz, Antonelli, Liam Lawson and Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Hayes, Nico Hülkenberg and Yuki Tsunoda, Pierce, Hadjar, Albon and Ollie Behrman rounds off the grid. With preparations almost... And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson.
Don't really need to hear all that again. Might try and change it to Alec Jakes for next one.
Radio check.
I might.
Radio check.
So, what is the
here we go. I know
strategy
what you can
today?
do. Don't let me
I
down.
think I'm going to go for the two-stop again. I just like the two-stop. Because, right, don't get me wrong, yes, the one-stop might be a bit quicker. Might. But the thing with the two-stop, fresher tyres, I think we can go more flat out and push a little bit more. Even if we get a safety car, it could work a little bit more earlier on into our favour, or a VSC. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a two-stop, push a little bit harder, and you know what? Everyone else is on the hards. Oh my days. So that is a very interesting one. How many of them are on hard tyres? So certainly the top 5, or 4 of the top 5 are on the hards. Obviously, I'm the odd one out here compared to the AI. So I'm going medium, hard at the end. Is everyone on hards, or am I the only one on mediums? Or has others gone mediums? Like, yeah, this is a bit interesting. It certainly puts my race a little bit different, because now my race sort of becomes, we've got to get Piastri at the start. Got to pull away then from Piastri. Try and bridge about a gap, maybe about 5 seconds, I'm going to say, before our first stop. Then the second part of the race is about just bridging the gap, really clawing back the lost time. Yeah, you know, this could work out better than Australia did. Australia, like, I think only a couple of the cars started on hards. In terms of actually out of position cars, only a few. Really, Gasly, Bortoleto, but then I say they're out of position. They qualified well in the sprint, raced well in the sprint, got solid points. Bortoleto, I think the Saubers and the Alpines really strong in this game so far. Maybe a bit too strong, but we will see. So, is this going to be our second Grand Prix win of the season? Have we aced the strategy with a medium, hard at the end, or have we done an absolute fumble? And are the AI on the correct tyre compound to begin this race on, and to finish the race on, more importantly? We are going to find out. So, yeah. Hopefully we make it to lap 9 this time, because last time, really the tyres went off quite fast, compared to what it would have done. So I'm trying to gotta make sure we get to lap 9 compared to the previous time. Yeah. Yes, we're going really slow onto the grid. Here we go then. So we are on the inside line. We did get well away from our previous grid spot on this side of the grid. Really well away. Bortoleto basically bogged down. Anyway, here we go then.
Be ready with the clutch.
We will. Oh yes, and there is actually 22 cars on the grid, not 11 and not 20. I have added Apex GP onto the grid. I know they aren't there in real life, but why not? They're in the game. Let's add 11 teams. Next season there will be 11 teams on the grid. Lights out and away we go. We do make the better start, however that's expected, being on the softer tyre compound, and we lead then the train into turn 1. Now it's just about trying to pull away and make the most of the tyre compound advantage as best as we possibly can. As we head through turn 1 and 2, already got the 1 second gap. We are on 97 AI. Maybe it's a bit weak. If it is, I will put up the AI difficulty tomorrow. We'll see how we get along, but nonetheless, so far, perfect start. We are, though, on the softer compound compared to the drivers behind, so I do expect them to be a bit slower in the initial, maybe first 4 or 5 laps. Then probably about lap 4, lap 5, that's when obviously they will come back at us in terms of lap time. So that's why we need to make the most of this opening few laps to try and just get our foot down and get as far up the road. So far we're doing just that. We've got the gap up to 1.9 seconds. Now straight line pace was a bit slow for us in the sprint. Are we going to be affected by that again? Maybe just a tad. Certainly looks like the AI got a little bit better straight line pace here still, but where we are affected is in the corners, and the gap's already up to 2.5 seconds almost as the two McLarens fight it out. So 2.5 seconds is the gap as we cross the line in lap 1. Can we get up to after lap 2? So I'm probably looking around lap 4. I want it to at least be about 5 seconds. As I say, if it's 5 seconds, I think then we've done a relatively good job. Lando though looking pretty strong, has to be said. Certainly in that first sector, probably matching, maybe if not going a little bit faster than myself. So we get a little bit of wheel spin. So yeah, Lando's certainly looking very quick on pace, sort of not letting me pull away, which is a bit of a shame. That's the only way I think we're going to beat McLaren today, is through doing a strategy which sort of allows me to go and attack just like we did in Melbourne.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
In terms of what the AI are on, I have no idea if they're on a 1 or a 2 stop. I feel like the 2 stop. Thing about the 2 stop this year, what's making it attractive, at least in career mode, okay, is there isn't much of a time difference apparently. So in terms of a time difference, it's about 6 seconds according to the game. Now 6 seconds really isn't a lot when you think of it. Like, I feel like that gap definitely can be made up just through driving ability and through also trying to go as aggressive as possible. But yeah, I think that's the thing for me, the key thing why I'm opting to do 2 stops rather than 1. And the thing is, the undercut's so powerful in this year's game. But so is the overcut as well. I think that's the thing. The overcut and the undercut can almost work equally as good in this year's game. So if you're on an undercut, like, you're going to be certainly better off in the short term, but then you're going to suffer longer term. But with the undercut or overcut, again, it's the opposite of that. You're going to be, worse off short term for sure, but longer term, if you can overcut your rival in this year's game, it certainly does seem to be like something which will work out well for you. It's not something which won't. So anyway, lap 4 of 28, and already the AI is starting to come back at myself. They haven't really grown out the gap to Norris or Piastri. Gap's only 2 seconds, so that's a bit negative for our race hopes. Gap back behind to Hamilton's perfect at about 5 seconds, 5.5. It's just a gap here between myself, Piastri and Norris, which I'm a bit worried about later on in this race. How obviously important that's going to be. Trying to also not use too much battery. I don't want to punish ourselves too much in terms of ERS deployment. Just trying to use it when and where I can, where I feel we're a bit weak, which is certainly there. The AI really gaining a lot in the straight line. Gaining almost 3/10 down that straight. We pull it back a little bit on the corner out of there for about 2/10. So we pick up the warning for that. I mean, just ever so slightly wide. That's the other thing. In Australia, we did pick up 2 penalties. So probably today, I don't think we're going to be able to afford that. Those 2 penalties. So we've definitely got to keep it better inside white lines. At least we've got our first warning, I suppose, on lap 5, not lap 1. That's going to help a lot. And probably a little bit harder to fall outside the, what you call it. So, on average tyre wear, 52% over the next 4 laps.
Seeing a lot of tide there now. We've got a new strategy if you want to take a look at it.
That's going to be a bit difficult to deal with. So what's the new tyre strategy? I can't really look at it right now. Not during the corner. They want us to come in lap 6. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to continue on with the lap 3. Happy with the lap 3 stop. You know. Okay, Piastri is getting closer to the rear of my car. He's back within the DRS almost. But Norris isn't. And that's why I'm going to keep going. The Norris isn't back in my DRS. And also still got good pace relative to the Ferrari and to Verstappen at the moment. So those are the 2 things that I'm looking at. I'm happy with the strategy I'm on. Probably second stint going to be a little bit easier to manage the tyre due to the fact fuel's burned off. Just due to the fact also with less fuel comes less deg naturally in any given race. So the track should have rubbered in a little bit more. So yeah, gap to Norris actually growing. Same with the gap to Hamilton. It's growing just a little bit. Gap back to Piastri has grown just a little bit, but he is very, very close to being within the DRS. He is going to probably be within the DRS come the end of the straight, but can we gain a little bit of that back to prevent him from picking up DRS on the exit here? He's also in my dirty air too, which for him. I'm not sure how much it affects the AI. Certainly, if you're driving the game, it's going to affect you a bit more in this year's game.
We're approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums.
I think in terms of the tyre wear, under 52% average, that should be fine. I feel like it's going to be fine. Looks like Norris hasn't really got pace of Piastri at the moment. But can we keep then Piastri behind on these what are now fairly worn medium compound tyres? Obviously Piastri with the better tyre at this phase in the race. Certainly looking all over the back of us at the moment. Is he going to be close enough out of here? This is the key turn for Oscar. Probably needs to be within 7/10. He's within half a second, so yeah, definitely going to be hard to defend for myself. I'm going to weave just a little bit, but I think it's a bit futile, and sure enough, it is the pace of that McLaren in a straight line in this race been superior to my pace. And Oscar Piastri takes back the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix as we now head into dirty air. If we can just stick with him, that's obviously good. So we will see what we can do now. And it's not just stick with him, if we maybe just get back past him at some point, that'd be good for our race. There's Verstappen now up into 4th. This will be actually Verstappen's first points this race potentially for Max. Yikes, rear losing a lot of grip. That McLaren is unlivable, basically. And yeah, I think this is probably the moment in the race where either way, no matter what we do, Piastri is going to pull away. So, do I convert onto a one-stop? Because the thing is, if McLarens are on a two-stop, I'm not entirely sure. Could we convert into a one-stop? Fronts are so gone, though, gotta be honest, they're not gonna last another lap. Look at, in fact, visually look at that tyre.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
It is gone. Absolutely shredded. In fact, we're not gonna make that challenge, you know. Front left's really taken a pounding. Got like another 0.9 laps. I thought it would have been 4 laps. Okay, whatever. Yeah, front left's done. It's dead. You can see how much pace I'm dropping as well. Not so much to Hamilton, but well, a little bit to Hamilton.
Okay, mate, I'm afraid we didn't quite get what we needed there, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down now, chin up.
Have a hold of that.
Right,
I have Norris's rear or front wings come off. Oh my days. That's how little grip there was. I feel so bad for Lando. I don't know if that's going to mean Lando going to have to come in. I don't think we got damaged, but yeah, Lando's slow. Because of that, we absolutely shredded off his rear wing. No grip on these tyres whatsoever. And here comes Hamilton.
Keep on him, he might make a mistake.
Yeah, that he might make a mistake. I've made a mistake. Surely Lando's got a pit. He does pit. So we're in 2, and in fact Max is in. So Max must be on a 2-stop. So yeah, this is going to be certainly affect Lando's race. I do feel very sorry for Lando. But our tyre, look how destroyed that front left was. My days, it was destroyed.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
We held on to it well. Just, yeah. So, come back out into race lead, into race 16th.
Okay, this is not your true position. They haven't pitted yet, so don't waste time fighting them. They're going to be coming in soon.
Easily onto the back. Now, interestingly, Verstappen's gone hard here. Not hard mediums or whatever. Well, he might have gone mediums. I know, hard. I don't think he got any damage, only Lando did. It was so bad for Lando, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah. In the end, it was a racing error from myself, just like that. Rear just win, and on very old tyres, held on to it, but at the same time, took a bit of collateral damage in Lando Norris. Would that be a penalty in real life? I mean, feel free to comment if it would or wouldn't, in your opinion. I think he'll be just seen as a racing incident, given the fact I've gone into a slide. It's also for the car behind to slow down cautiously and what you call it, not drive into you as well. So it's a bit of both, if you know what I mean. Yeah, not really sure if that would be a penalty or not.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Now, I know, obviously, EA have done it on purpose, maybe, in making the tyres more wear, but actually I'm going to talk about that, because should they be as worn as that? Like, in real life, we don't really see 2 stops, I don't think. You know, you just see the 1 stop most time, but I feel like in the game, it's forcing me as the player to go into a 2 stop, as I said before, due to how difficult the tyres are to manage. I don't even know how you manage them. It's going to be so big in league racing that, tell you what, whoever can manage their tyres the most in league racing, they're going to be champion a lot, or going to be winning a lot of races this season. So whoever has the best time management, seriously, fair play to those drivers. We do rear end Hajar, no, Lawson, sorry. So yeah, Lawson got a bit of front.
Okay, good work, great pass. Right,
to be fair to Lawson, they went so slow into the hairpin. His AI were moving. Go for a little bit of a dart back on Hayes, Sonny Hayes, in the new F1 film in a month's time. As I say, put Apex GP on the grid, only because next season we are actually getting 11th team in Cadillac, and I quite like the looks of the that car. Not the best, but who knows, maybe we will drive for them in a later season. I feel like George Russell could be a good fit for that team in a later season if they do improve. We'll see how that team develops. If it develops into something, maybe we will elect to drive for them in one of the seasons later on down the line.
Okay, gap ahead, 24.2 seconds.
Obviously, I do plan on doing not just this season, but plan on doing multiple seasons of this career mode. So stay ahead of Stroll until lap 17. Should be pretty easy that, no? He'll be coming in anyway. Is he behind me? Oh yes, he is. Yeah, he will be coming in soon anyway, as I say. Right, what's our pace? 38.8. So not bad pace, not great, not blistering. I think that's Hamilton on our mini-map ahead of us, so he's definitely got to be on a one-stop. He's in, what, P3 I believe it is right now. I think that's Hamilton at least. Could be Leclerc actually. I don't think it is, surely not. Like, if Alonso's 6th, coming up to a train, that would put Antonelli 5th. I'm actually not sure which one of the Ferraris that is, if it's Leclerc. Because to me it looks like that's a train at least up to 4. But then Hamilton's 2nd, ain't he? Because he hasn't stopped. So actually maybe that's Hamilton up ahead. So actually, yeah, that's Leclerc in 3rd, sorry. Leclerc's 3rd now. And the thing is, like, Leclerc hasn't stopped. Like, we've lost quite a bit of time due to that all. Actually, we've lost probably about 5 seconds worth of track time. We were quicker than Hamilton, so can we make it up? Maybe, but it might be closer. Well, it's definitely going to be closer at the end due to that. In terms of gap behind, I'm not too worried. Verstappen's got to stop again. So has Norris now.
Okay, Andrea's coming in for his stop now.
There's no way, obviously, them two don't have to stop. So, yeah, kind of need to bridge the gap down to, obviously, Lewis a bit here. Get that gap somehow down. Not sure how far in front he is. I'm going to estimate it to be about 10 seconds, the gap, as we almost slam into the rear of Carlos Sainz. So we're having a bit of a scruffy race actually now. Obviously have done quite a few laps, done 24, so maybe a bit of fatigue creeping in. Anyway, down the inside here on the fresher tyre. Get the job done, just about.
Tyres are degrading fast. We can change strategy if you want. Check your MFD for details.
I want to change strategy, that's the thing. I know that is degrading fast, I totally agree there, but I don't want to change strategy regardless, if you know what I mean. It is a 2-lap difference. I think that's a bit more manageable. The last one was a bit like a 3 or 4 lap difference. Anyway, here comes Sainz, and then easily come back at us with the DRS. No fight really on my end, not really much could do anyway. Now hope Sainz isn't planning to pit, because if he was, oh my days. Hope he weren't planning to pit there, like, but that was nervy, trying to challenge me into there. That was a very nervy moment. Has Hamilton pitted yet? Don't think so. Anyway, next up will be Alonso. Hopefully get Alonso a little bit quicker. Right. There is Alonso. Still ahead of Lance Stroll, which is good, I suppose. So, yeah. aside from the mid-race shenanigans, that lap 9 shenanigans, we are going to get back up into the top 4. Then, obviously, we do have our second stop to make, our mandatory pit stop. A little bit brave on the brakes, actually. So, Piastrian gone on to set mediums. A bit early, to be fair. Can he get those to the end? I mean, maybe. But that feels early, to be honest. 13 seconds is the gap. We come back out just into race lead. So, or net race lead, that'll be. Piastri will have the better tyre anyway. So he's going to probably, maybe first quarter of a lap suffer. But once we get to that DRS zone, he's going to be long past me. So, yeah, obviously Hamilton being next lap. But a little early, I think, for the medium to get to the end. I feel like they might need to take another stop still. So maybe they are on a 2-stop. Hamilton, I'm not sure.
Car behind on the medium tyre now.
If they do a 1-stop on that tyre, what's my tyre saying? Yeah, 54% front left. That'll be in puncture territory, surely, by the end of the race. Surely. 10 laps, 57, but they've got to do what? 13 laps, 14? That'll be puncture territory, surely. Unless the AI aren't that affected. I mean, that's the only thing. Like, if that's the only thing I would say. If the AI aren't, if the AI aren't that deeply affected by it, then that's the only thing I'm really not liking about this game, is the fact that the player's practically forced into a 2-stop. Like, how would the player be, what you call it? 'Cause I don't really think I'm driving that badly. I don't think I'm driving unsmoothly. I'm driving relatively okay. So we will have done 9 laps by the time we've come in again. Do have a nice gap back to Hamilton, to be fair. But what will they have done? So
you should be feeling the effects of some tyre wear soon, so stay on your toes.
Piastri's on his second lap, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, Piastri's on his second lap of his strategy. Oh, my. Almost dropping the car again. Same place. Yeah, Piastri be on his second lap. We are on our 8th lap of this 2-stop. Piastri will have done, if he gets those tyres to the end, bear in mind, he'll have done at least about 6 laps. Well, 9 be 24, so 25 is 10. About, dare I say, 13 laps. 13, 14 laps on mediums.
In this lap, push now.
Feels like a very long way he's got to go on that tyre. Do have a yellow flag, or did have a yellow flag. I think that might have been Hamilton, you know.
Okay, information on Verstappen.
Certainly Verstappen.
Right, serious car issue.
Virtual safety car.
Right,
okay, that's come out. Tell you what, that's come at the wrong time a little bit. It's kind of come at the right and the wrong time. It's come at the right time because at least we're not going to lose any more lap time to Piastri. But it's come at the wrong time in the sense that we're not going to gain anything with that DSC. Obviously, if I knew it would be under DSC, I would have pitted. Yeah, I'm not sure it would have been deployed, really. Anyway.
Okay, VSC ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
The gap's 4
Box this lap,
seconds?
please. Box
How is
this
it
lap.
4 seconds? We drove perfectly within our delta. It was 3 seconds, I swear, when it was deployed. I could have been wrong in that. And I swear the gap back was a lot more. And how the hell has Hamilton got up into... I don't know. I'm just going to use one flashback. I'm a bit annoyed at that. So, gap's 5 seconds as we come in then for what will definitely be our final stop of the race. I know, obviously, well, I don't know whether they've got pit, the two Ferraris again, but they've got
Okay, mate,
not
that's
so
it.
much
Go,
Hamilton.
go, go.
Hamilton, I
That was a
think,
fantastic stop.
has
Faster
got a
than we were
decent way to
expecting.
go, but not
Okay,
impossible
Andrea's
now.
coming in for his stop now.
The one I'm
Pit strategy
worried about,
complete. See these tires?
the one I'm worried about the most is
Okay, off we go. Back into the race. Perfect job. From
yeah, the
you
one
and
I'm worried
crew
about
there,
the
mate. We're
most
delighted with that.
is
Andrea's in the pits. Andrea is in
Lewis,
the pits. Pit
I
strategy
suppose.
complete. See these tyres through to the
a
end
bit
now.
of traffic to negotiate. Should have a faster tyre anyway. Like, as the race goes on now, we'll always be in a bit of a better position. The AI tyre should run out of grip for more. Right, now it's just time to get back through the traffic and try to make the most of this. So, lap 19, 10 laps to go. P8 in the race. Where are we going to finish here in the end?
Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about.
That probably was a track limit, but oh well. No signs. No signs. Please, signs. No. Don't want to battle with you. Right now I'm trying to race my own race. That's the annoying thing. We've kind of come out in traffic, but really, there's nothing we could have done. Absolutely nothing we could have done besides try and make it to the end. Just gonna have to go for it up the inside. Bit of a risky move, but I think we're gonna make it work. Good thing is the AI will give us
George, do it
the
just ahead.
space.
Push hard. We don't want to let this hold us up too long, so do your
There
best to
we
get
go.
past and get on with the race. Okay, really, really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean.
So next up is Yuki Tsunoda. As I say, I expect some point the AI in front to drop off quite massively. Not sure when that could or will be. So kind of just gonna have to hope it's sooner rather than later. On Yuki Tsunoda. Down the inside. We've done very, very nicely. Next up is
Nice
Fernando
work, mate.
Alonso.
That brings you up a place.
Can we get the two? Not quite the two, but certainly get the one. And that means next lap we're going to be surely up into 4th. Just going to go for it on the inside here. Be brave, and brave enough we are. So, gap 16 seconds. What is going to be then this end result? Can we catch Lewis Hamilton? Can we catch Charles Leclerc? Can we maybe catch Oscar Piastri? Do they have to stop again? Those are the bigger questions, I suppose, now left in this race to be determined. We are going to be probably quicker. As the laps do go on, I expect the AI to suffer a bit more wear than us.
Leclerc is ahead of you. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 12.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 5 laps old, and the time last lap, 1 minute 38.6, 11.7 seconds. Fourth position, you're in 4th position. Our gap to first place, 28.1 seconds. Leclerc ahead. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 11.7 seconds. They're on old mediums. That's Alonso behind. They're on old mediums. Look after these tyres now, and we'll finish the race on this
gap
compound.
to first place is
8 laps to go.
28 seconds.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Just set the fastest lap of the race on this hard compound. I'm just thinking, what is the how can I put it? What is the pit stop gap? Kind of need to know this every lap, really. I think it's about 20-second window here. You drop 20 seconds. Dare I say? If it is 20 seconds, you need to make up 8 seconds on Piastri. So yeah, let's just go for it and see. I say, really push this tyre. Because if, let's say, Piastri has to pit, there is Piastri. Yeah, let's just say we can force Piastri's hand, he has to pit. Obviously, I don't think he has to react to us, but if he pits and we can get out ahead of him, can we hold him off for 6-7 laps? I'm going to give it everything.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Right, let's see.
Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by, 10.2 seconds. Okay, so gap to the leader, 27.2 seconds.
That's gap on way to 9, gap to lead up. 27.2, so it is coming down. 38.1.
24.
What's 24? 24 what? Is that the gap to the leader now? I don't think so. Surely not. That would have came down by 3 seconds that lap. Again, I don't know whether though how bad the tyre wear will be at the end of the race. Oscar did pit lap 15, so his tyres will almost be that 9 lap region, 10 laps old. And for me, I'm not saying that's puncture territory, but it's close. It's probably about 2 laps more than a puncture territory. Right. Not probably going to get any more updates from Jeff. Oh well, didn't need him. Yeah. Just to break that, I'm gonna... Yeah, just to break that, just so then we get the updates. And that's a bit of a bug, really.
4th position. You're
There
in
you go.
4th position. Okay, gap to leader, 26.0 seconds.
We gained
Leclerc
absolutely
ahead.
nothing from
okay,
that.
gap to the car in front,
So we could...
9.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. That's Alonso behind. They're on old mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. All right, 6 laps to go now.
So yeah, Piastri's tyres will be about 9 laps old now. So in theory, they should be around the 60 mark in terms of tyre wear. As you can see, mine are on 31. He's about 3 laps older, but is a softer compound. Or 3 laps younger, sorry. But as I say, we've got a softer compound of tyre. He's got the harder. We've got the harder compound. He's got the softer compound of tyre. So in theory, that would wear out a little bit more. As I say, if the pit stop gap or whatever it is roughly 20 seconds or less, we're certainly coming back at Piastri a little bit. Not sure. What it needs to be, or what it don't need to be.
Good work, we're in P4. Our gap to
What's the
first
gap?
place,
24.3. So,
24.3
I tell you what,
seconds.
he's
Leclerc is
dropped
ahead
a
of you.
lot
Okay,
there.
gap ahead,
He's
7.9
dropped an absolute
seconds. They're on
lot
old
in the
mediums.
last
Alonso
lap.
behind you now. They're on old
Because
mediums.
it was
Look after these
26.0.
tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. Okay, just 5 laps until the end.
So we are coming back fast. Obviously, it wouldn't be enough. Nowhere near enough. This wouldn't, but it would be certainly close. So now they're in the, well, for Hamilton, he's in the 9 lap range. Leclerc and Piastri have been on those mediums for 10 laps now. 10 laps, that's what it is.
And gap to the car in front, 7.1 seconds.
Kind of work out what we're taking off the car in front anyway. So we're probably taking about a second or two. So I think if Piastri does have to pit again, we're definitely back in Piastri's pit window. Hamilton could be the race winner actually out of all this, you know. If they have to pit again, but I'm not too sure.
Position. You're in 4th position. Okay, so gap to the leader, 22.8 seconds. Leclerc ahead. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 6.8 seconds.
Haven't taken much
mediums.
out of
That's
Leclerc
Alonso
that
behind.
lap.
They're on old mediums.
Yeah.
Your pit window is open. Pit window currently open. 4 laps remaining.
No, wait. Can it be open? So, 3 laps to go. Need to kind of catch Leclerc by 2 seconds a lap now. Even Leclerc might be a bit of a tough one to get. But we'll see. I'm going to push on. But Leclerc, even he, I'm not really gaining too much on in at the moment. How the AI are making a one-stop work, no idea. I know, look, I know obviously they've gone hard, medium or whatever, but I just don't understand that. If they make this work, I don't understand how, like, the AI make that work. I know people might say, oh, skill issues, this, that, and whatnot, and okay, except that could be the case, but I don't know. To me, that's just a bit. Look, at the end of the day, there's no way. Look at the tyres right now. We pitted about 8 laps ago. There's no way that I could have made, no matter how slow I go, I'd have to go seconds a lap slower to make a a one-stop work. We'd have to be lapping into the 140s or even slower than that, I would say, as I say, to make the one-stop work. Is that what you got to do? Lap that slow? But then I'd be nowhere. So it's a choice. Do you want to be somewhere or do you want to be nowhere? If that makes sense. Like, in this game, if you want to be somewhere, you've got to push, of course. Just like any racing game. But if you want to be nowhere, then yeah, gap's coming down a little bit now. But yeah, I think the AI is going to make what looks like a one-stop work. I don't know how they've done it, the AI, but tell you what, Leclerc's going a bit slower now, just a little bit. Also, there's Piastri. He's dropped a lot in the last few laps. Gap must be under 20 seconds now, I presume. It won't be enough. It won't be enough, I don't think. Unless they get punctures.
The distance to the leader,
There you go, 18.9 seconds. Unless they get a puncture, I think they've got it covered. Like,
4.5 seconds. They're on old mediums.
That's the truth.
Alonso behind you now. They're on old mediums. Your pit window's now open. Pit window is open.
So
2 laps left. Next time by will be your final lap.
yeah, 4.5 seconds to go.
Okay, you've just started.
Unless
the final lap of the race.
Leclerc
Final
drops 4.5 seconds, we're finishing P4. That's it then. That mistake in the race cost us certainly a lot of time. Cost us probably what would have been a podium. Did maybe a few of our, well, getting stuck in traffic certainly cost me more as well. It is going to be a double Ferrari podium. Piastri will take the lead of the Drivers' Championship then. And we will obviously,
Okay, here's the gap
I think
that
the
we're trailing the
second
car ahead by 4.1 seconds.
in the championship anyway. Will extend, in fact, the gap, I believe, to Norris by a few points.
4th position. You're in 4th
Just want to see
position.
what the gap
Okay,
is.
gap to leader,
17.4.
17.4
So yeah,
seconds.
Piastri
Leclerc
rounds the final
ahead. Okay,
corner,
gap to the car ahead,
takes the race win.
4.1 seconds. They're on old mediums. That's Alonso behind. They're on old
We
mediums. Okay,
then
this is your final lap of the race.
Come home in a relatively miserable P4.
Okay,
Not happy
pick
with
up rubber
that,
and bring it
but
home.
it is what it is.
Nicely done, team. Well done. I think the podium would have been on the stretch
Still
today, but
get points for that overall, but it is going to be Piastri ahead in the championship now by,
And it's the
I think,
checkered
6
flag for your
points
Grand Prix race winner,
or something
Oscar
like that.
Piastri.
Maybe a
A
couple
great
more, maybe a
display
couple
of
less.
dominance today, Crofty, by this
Yeah.
driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
It's time for our podium celebrations. And as ever in Formula One, 3 is the magic number. And your winner today, the man from down under, congratulations, Oscar Piastri.
So there we go then. That is your race
Well, that
finish.
was certainly an exciting weekend
for
of
today.
Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting
Did they do
Formula
one
One
stop?
action
Yeah, they did.
very soon.
Obviously, Norris did do a 2-stop. So did we. So did Andrea. So pace was there more or less. Maybe we were a little slower than the McLarens. I'm not going to pretend we were quicker than the McLarens. But how they made that work, the 1-stop, I really don't know. I want to have a look at the lap times he was doing in the end. So he was doing, 1 minute 40s in that first stint. But even then, when you look at the lap times, 1:39s, okay, not exactly fast. We were pushing, I think. But then again, let's have a look at our lap times. We pitted onto the hards here, so we're only about a second a lap quicker. At the start of the race, these were our first 9 laps. I mean, we weren't going, well, maybe for the track at the time we were going a bit fast, but second stint, again, we had a massive drop-off towards the end of that stint, and again, I don't think we were doing that badly, like 1:40, 1:39, so we weren't going that fast or that slow, if that makes sense. We were sort of going medium pace, I'd say, similar to Piastri, and yeah, tyres were not getting to the end, I'll tell you that now. In fact, I'll just forward it to where we spun, so just have a look how bad the tyres were at that stage. They must have been awful. I'll tell you that now. So this was lap 1, at least complete. Just gonna forward it to lap about 8, I'm gonna say, or lap 9. I think lap 9's when we spun, wasn't it? It might have been. Cannot remember, but just gonna have a look at that front left tyre in particular. Because the front right, I don't think was too bad, but the front left, in my opinion, you could visually tell looked awful, looked absolutely like there was nothing left. Even at this point, you can sort of see, like, there a little bit. I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but in my opinion, you can a little bit. You can see what I mean by the graining. And that's the thing. Like, McLarens were having a little battle, which did help us actually in this first half of the race. But should we have came in a lap earlier? Maybe that probably would have made certainly a bit of a difference towards our podium hopes. I don't think we were ever going to win that race anyway, given how superior the AI were. That also mistake cost me so much in terms of time on the track. Like, probably cost me at least a P2. Maybe it wouldn't have been the P2 because obviously Norris would have probably done the 1-stop, I'm thinking. That's what I'm just thinking. The top cars seem all to be on a 1-stop. Max was certainly on a Hamilton definitely 1-stop. Leclerc 1-stopped it. Norris, Piastri did. Norris only 2-stopped due to the fact, obviously, we crashed into him. So I'm not really sure to say positively or confidently he would have been on the 1-stop. But to be fair, we were losing a little bit of time on that lap anyway. A lot of time on that lap. But yeah, for initially, like you can see, we were coping well against even Piastri at this stage. So, just looking, next lap I think we get overtaken, or this lap we get overtaken, can't remember. Did we get overtaken this lap? Oh no, we did. So we tried to defend a little bit, but not too much. I knew it was going to be a bit pointless with the pace advantage. And now, for me, I'm not really trying to come back at Piastri, just to be clear. I'm just trying to hold on. Maybe I'm trying to come back a little bit, but not a lot. But yeah, you can visually see, I think now, how much that tyre... When we spin, I'll show you properly how much that tyre was gone. It was gone. And we'll even fast forward it to the pit stop where we do come in. I might make a TikTok on it later on tonight. So yeah, here's where we spin. Quite a nice save, actually. Somehow we managed to catch, but look how badly, either way, our front right is. I mean, that is shredded. I don't think you can really tell too much, actually, due to the fact tyres are dirty. But yeah, that was a bit of contact we made. Then we had a second slide, caught that one too. It is obviously easier to catch the car anyway, but yeah. I feel bad for Norris there. Certainly ruined his race. Front, though, right. The right tyres don't look too bad. I don't think rears look too bad, to be fair. But this front tyre, oh my days. Look how bad it is. Compare that to the front right, not bad. That is destroyed. I mean, the rear left ain't looking... It's looking bad, don't get me wrong, but not looking as bad as that. That was the problem in this race. That front right tyre, I don't know what else I could have done. I don't know if there is anything, really, you know, I actually could have done. What does square do? Not actually sure. Any zooms? Any way to zoom it in? Like, yeah. But that's what the tyre looks like. Front right looked generally... Well, rear left, okay. Rear right, not in... rear left, not in bad shape. Rear right in decent shape, I'd say. Obviously, it's always going to be the left that takes the punishment around this circuit. Obviously, due to the fact most of the corners are right-handers, so you're always going to put more strain on the left-hand side of the car than the right. But that is something else, and yeah, there was no way you're getting that another 2 laps, another 3 laps. If I tried that, I think, well, you're in puncture territory. As soon as you tip over to 80%, you're in puncture territory, and I just don't know what else could have been done or had to be done to get to the end there. And how the AI therefore did a 1-stop, I think it's a bit overpowered. The AI's advantage in that regard. And that, I do hope, gets maybe patched just ever so slightly to benefit the player. Make tyre wear just a little bit less effective. That's just my view. If it does come out in future weeks. But other than that, that's my only complaint. Right, see you all next time for round number 3. I'll be back for, I believe, next up. Where are we racing next? Is it Jeddah? Round number 3? Oh no, Japan. Japan, I'm not sure if that'll be easier or harder.
Okay, all the new parts have been fabricated, and we're going to have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Can we upgrade anything before Japan? Got obviously new update coming, which is nice. Got this, but I'm not sure it'll be in time for Japan. Could get it for Bahrain, but then there is a 55% chance of failure. I think we're going to go for actually that. Try and get the beam wing ready for Saudi. Then I think that's going to be my plan. Trying to obviously upgrade the car aerodynamically a lot. That's going to be my plan for season 1. Get the car aerodynamically upgraded. And then season 2, go for chassis more. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to probably try and do. I think we've got another upgrade coming anyway. Andrea Antonelli's going to go for one. But yeah, second in the championship. We're about 7 points now behind. Is what it is. So there we go. Floor stiffening done. So that'll be a nice little upgrade. So 2 nice little upgrades ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. which again might just put us a little bit closer to McLaren and a little bit closer to obviously Red Bull Racing in terms of vehicle performance. Other than that, Japanese Grand Prix is going to be the next episode, so see you all then for the Japanese Grand Prix.